Holy is the ultimate gamer. He's earned that name.
Holyone.
Great guy, and his videos are fantastic.
What's to do, YouTube? It's Holyone, and it's that time of the year for my year-end reviews for my most disappointing, best, and worst games of 2022. We're starting off with my top 10 most disappointing games of 2022. So we're starting off at number 10 with Warhammer 3. Now, Warhammer 3, I beat and played Warhammer 2. The problem with this game, and why it's not on my worst list, is it's disappointing because, one, it feels like a DLC expansion for 2. The campaign is lackluster at best. There's tons of bugs and performance issues when it first came out when I played it. But I know with time, this game will probably grow and become a decent game. That's why it's on my disappointing list. So that's my first game on my most disappointing list, guys. So if you have Game Pass, you could try it out. Otherwise, it's on other platforms. But right now, I would wait for this game to go on a deep sale for like $15 or $10. And then wait for them to patch the game more and add more content to it. Like, wait for the complete edition. At number 9, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, I'm sure a lot of you Nintendrons are going to be upset, but I've played every single Pokemon game since the original Red and Blue have come out, whether it's Pokemon Box or anything. So I am a huge diehard Pokemon fan, and I bought this game at $60 full price, knowing it was a spinoff. But Arceus is like one of my favorite legendaries, so I figured let me give it a try. So visual-wise, you know, it has the Switch performance issues. The world to me is kind of sub-open world like Metro Exodus, so the game isn't bad. I was just disappointed because I prefer the classic Pokemon gym leader sort of thing, and that's where this game and Violet kind of failed. And the legend, spoiler alert, but the legendaries in this game are hideous. Dialga and Palkia turn into like an Arceus freak. The Pokemon look fine. Like, I like the Cyndaquil, its new evolution in this region looks cool. The art style is totally fine. I don't really care for the huddling down and throwing Pokeballs at Pokemon. And the visuals are really showing the Switch's age. So, but if you can get this game at like $30, I'd say it's worth it. So it's a disappointing game to me, but it is not a bad game. At number 8, we have Nobody Saves the World, an indie game that debuted on PC Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass. So what got me interested in this game is it has a cool art style, the combat's pretty cool. However, what holds it back is the clunky controls, especially if you're on keyboard and mouse. It's unplayable, and the game is extremely grindy. Not fun grinding like a Souls game. It's very bad grinding. So if you guys can play this on Game Pass, I'd say it's worth a try. I tried the co-op in it, but still that was no fun either. So unfortunately the game is just not fun despite the cool visuals and combat. So it's just a disappointing game overall. At number 7, we have Shadow Warrior 3. Unfortunately, I loved Shadow Warrior 1, and 2 was amazing. Visually, gameplay-wise, gun mechanics, great $40 title. And when I saw the Shadow Warrior 3 was coming to PlayStation Plus Extra, I figured I'd download it and play it since I liked the original. This game is a huge step back from the originals. The story is garbage. The visuals took a downgrade. The gameplay is worse. The combat is ranked up more difficultly even if you play it on normal or easy. Even though I played it on hard, I just dropped it after, like a bad habit, because as a fan of the series, this ain't it, chief. I can see why this game was on PlayStation Premium or even going to Game Pass. So if you guys like Shadow Warrior 3, wait for it to come to a subscription service. It is not worth buying. It is just a huge disappointment. The only saving grace for this game is its gameplay, and that's why it's not on my top 10 worst list. At number 6, we have Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. This game took all the collections together, and unfortunately for the asking price of $60, too much. The online split screen was missing. I pay $60 for it. It's on Game Pass, so it's definitely worth playing if you guys have Game Pass, but it was a huge disappointment to me after playing the originals back on the 360. This just didn't cut it for me. I think I might have just outgrown the Lego games. It was just a disappointment to me overall. At number 5, we have Stray. Yes, I know this is going to piss off a lot of people who are like, I'm a cat fan. It's a gaudy contender. I love cats. My line of work requires me to work with cats. However, I'll give you what Stray's good at. Visuals are good. The body language of the cat interacting with the world is great. The world looks fine. However, the game is very boring. It's just boring. I cannot get into it. The exploration's boring. The world's boring. It's just a boring game. That's why it was a disappointment to me. I could not get into it. I got 3 hours into the game and had to drop it like a bad habit. It's just boring. So, it's just a disappointing game to me. Some of you might like it, but to me it was just a linear, boring game. And the cat didn't help make it less boring. At number 4, Valkyrie Elysium. Now, what Valkyrie Elysium does good is the combat is cool, the visuals are decent. Unfortunately, the game's story is trash. Enemy variety is pretty basic, not great. So it feels like it's a $30 game that they charged $60 for. And I paid full price for this game. But if you guys can get it, which most of the time it's on sale for $30, I'd say get it for like $20, $25. It might be worth getting. If you're interested in just the gameplay itself, then it's worth a cop. But overall, the game's like a 5. Overall, on a scale of 5 to 10. Yeah, and if you guys have played the originals, you'll definitely be disappointed with this one as well. At number 3, we have Gotham Knights. Now, I'm sure you guys are like, this should be on your top 10 worst list. This game was crap. Yes. The gameplay is a little clunky and slow. It had a lot of bugs, had a lot of performance issues, and for $70, absolutely not. This game at best might be worth $25, $30. And a lot of time it's on sale for $30. And it's at its current state at launch, it was not great. It's in its current state now, it's a lot better. Personally, I thought the combat and the story were mid, not great. But a lot of people say it's an enjoyable experience. So if you're a fan of the Arkham games or Batman like myself, give it a try. The gameplay is a little slower, and the story is not as good as the Arkham games. And definitely get it at like $20. So overall, it's a disappointing game, but it is not terrible. At number 2, we have Harvestella, which came out on the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch. Now, I was hyped for this game. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you know I was raving about this game because I was a huge fan of Sakura Rice and Ruin, which is significantly better than this game. This game visually is pretty basic because it's a Switch hardware. The farming in this game is trash. You get this little pile area with rocks. There is literally not much to do on it. The time of day goes by way too fast, and the combat is pretty crappy, and enemies is the only saving grace that makes it disappointing is the story. That's about it. If it wasn't for that, this game would be on my top 10 worst list. So get this game for like $10. I know on Nintendo you're not going to get that, but keep an eye out on Steam Deck. You might be able to get it at a good price. So that's number 2. And number 1, my most disappointing game of 2022 is Callisto Protocol, one of my most hyped games for the whole year. This game launched broken on PC, buggy, broken on Xbox, slightly okay on PlayStation 5. It's a real shame that this game released at $70 broken because it's visually it looks great. I'll go back and play it and beat it once it's $15. But the combat is nothing like Dead Space. It's like a melee SWAT fest. And the game looks great, but the state it launched in, the price, the performance, the absence of care that this game got, the bugs, issues, and awful loading screens this game had. It was just a huge disappointment. So it's unfortunate that Callisto Protocol wasn't given a couple months delay to fix the PC port, Xbox port, and everything like that. So it's a real shame. So that's going to wrap up my video, guys. Let me know what your most disappointing games are in the comment section below. This is your boy, Holyone. Oh!